Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Wicked Good Show. I am obviously Dylan. I'm joined by my pal, my amigo Brian. Brian, late Friday night recording. Brian, don't stop.
No, it does not stop at all. Dylan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Got the Yankees game on. I believe the Yankees are winning 3-1 right now.
Oh, there we
Not
go.
entirely sure, but I'm in the game. I got the game on the background. No, I'm
Pivotal
doing
game
good.
for them.
How about you? How you doing? How was this week?
I'm
for Brian Marr.
I'm doing pretty well. We got a decent amount of work done for the channel. This is, of course, the week that we released the Robin Courtney interview for Better Radio. Definitely check that out. I think it's
Very
good
very
episode.
very good.
Yeah, Robin
I
Courtney,
enjoyed it a lot.
really awesome person, great interview, and I think just very unique. So we do a lot of like fun comedy stuff here, but this is a little more serious, but still obviously had the overtones of comedy because she is, of course, a comedian.
It was a lot of serious subjects talked about, but she was very funny. I thought that was a very, very good episode of podcast. I think maybe one of the best episodes we've had on our entire channel for podcasts.
Yeah, it was great. We got to get you on the show sooner than later. And
not the next episode. I don't want to follow.
No,
don't
worry. We got another comedian scheduled who will take the following on that. And then other than that, I just watched El Camino again tonight because Jenny hadn't seen it. Still great. One thing I did notice in it that I didn't notice the first time, Jesse figures out that spoilers for El Camino, everybody. I'm sorry. It's been a few weeks by now. Jesse figures out the money's in the fridge because he hits his head against it while he's frustrated about not finding it and hears something fall down in the fridge. So that's why.
Okay.
Because I couldn't remember that. I must have.
No, I don't. I think we talked about it both. Neither of us remembered.
Yeah, so that's why that movie's fucking awesome, man.
I stayed true to my word and I started rewatching Breaking Bad, and
Very nice.
has not disappointed. It's just especially after watching El Camino, I'm still just floored by how good that show was.
Yeah. No,
It's just it's one of those things that you hear from so many people. They made fun of it on like Family Guy. Was like, oh, watch The Wire, watch Breaking Bad. It's like his TV trying to tell him what to do.
Yep.
But it's very true. Like people are always like, oh, watch Breaking Bad. It's the best show ever. And I up until Game of Thrones flopped, I feel like I'm redoing my conversation from last week. But up until Game of Thrones completely just balked the final season, I had that as my best show ever. But now Breaking Bad. You said it. It's like the most complete show from beginning to end. In my rewatch, I'm just like glued to the TV of episodes I've seen twice before.
Right.
It's so good.
Yeah, and to end the week, we got to see a fun movie that we're gonna talk about in this episode.
Yeah, so we went to the theater and saw the one-day showing of Schindler's List, and it's something I'm looking forward to talking about today.
Yeah, it's real fun.
Zombieland Double Tap. We're actually switching it up a little bit. We're going to be reviewing Zombieland Double Tap this week.
Yeah.
We're originally going to review Jojo Rabbit first, but we could not find a showing of Jojo Rabbit anywhere.
Yeah, it's not our fault. We did try. Like, that was the intention and the plan, and then we were like, oh, I guess we can't see it.
I don't fully understand because it was pretty heavily marketed. I don't understand why it's not in theaters everywhere.
Yeah,
you know what
I
I
don't
mean?
either.
They were like showing trailers of it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's going on there because you have to go to Boston, pretty much Massachusetts. Like I looked everywhere unless there was like a mass error for all theaters because I looked at things other than AMC. I don't know what happened. Same thing for the Lighthouse. I fear the Lighthouse might be more limited at first, but still. I feel like when I see that October 18th release date on IMDb, I feel like that's like the wide release.
Right. I think our best shot, if we don't want to go to Boston, might be Showcase Worcester has the art wing that sometimes they'll show more like obscure movies, so we can keep an eye on that. But for now, we're going to figure it out. But for now, we're a little stumped.
I had saw that the AMC in Boston, I forget the exact name of it, it was actually had a Q&A for the Lighthouse with the director.
Oh, damn. If we had known about that, we've been all over that.
I discovered it was actually, I was looking at it 2 hours before we went to Zombieland. I'm like, but that would have been cool.
Yeah.
You gotta get press passes. We don't need press pass to that. We got to get press pass so we can get that shit for free.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you're.
We're building up to it. That's the end goal, of course. I think that's the AMC at Assembly Road, right?
Yes.
The only movie I've ever seen there is pretty much on the same level of The Lighthouse, Resident Evil 7.
Yes, it is. Resident Evil 7, the artsy film that has been shown in film schools and art house theaters all around the country.
And I sat next to a couple who brought 2 young children to it, which was a lot. And I didn't understand it, and I was pretty distracted by it, being like, these children are going to be scarred. I can't enjoy this knowing that these children
terrible.
are like,
Dad, what'd you bring?
Exactly. It's like, at least have some taste. Yeah, it's
why didn't they stop at 3?
For real though, for real. But we're getting a little off topic. Dylan, we have some news stories to cover this week.
Sure do. And I'm actually going to spring one on you too that we can talk about first.
Okay.
Let's get over real quickly. The Mandalorian episode schedule came out today, which a little treat to start out. So episode 1 obviously comes out November 12th, the day that Disney Plus drops.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we knew that, but 3 days after, obviously because these are now being released week by week, not all at once, which I actually really enjoy, especially since we're going to be doing recaps on it.
Mm-hmm.
But episode 1's going to be on November 12th, and then 3 days later, November 12th, I don't know if that's a Friday or if it's in the middle of the week. I wonder if that's whether they're doing 3 days later. But 3 days later, episode 2 drops on November 15th. And then it goes by an official every 7-day schedule.
Gotcha. So, it looks like the 12th is a Tuesday and the 15th is a Friday.
I wonder what the significance of dropping on the 12th is. Someone should look it up if there's any significance for Disney doing an 11-12. Because I feel like that's a Tuesday is a very random day.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know. Well, I'm sure there's some Disney fan out there like, obviously it's this thing, you idiots, but that's not us, unfortunately.
That is really going to kick off Star Wars fever because the final episode for that season doesn't come until December 27th, which is about 2 weeks after Rise of Skywalker drops. So Star Wars fever really kicks off the Mandalorian. From there on, it's just because all the Star Wars movies other than Last Jedi and Solo are going to be on Disney Plus. So they're all going to be right there for you to rewatch. Yeah, I'm excited. The Mandalorian, I'm very excited. Not just because we're covering it. It's speaking of good TV shows. I really need another good TV show to dive into week by week.
I'm excited to see Bill Burr in something.
Yep, we haven't officially seen Bill Burr in the trailers, but I've seen like the leaked photos of him, and he looks pretty fucking cool actually.
Yeah.
I've seen he's dual wielding a couple guns, and so really looking forward to that. But yeah, that's pretty much for the Mandalorian. So obviously, November 12th is when we're going to be getting our first episode. That's when all of Disney Plus is going to be dropping. So,
so get your credit cards ready, everybody.
I think you could. I don't know how you pre-order your subscription to Disney Plus. Like I don't know if like you maybe get a discount the whole year, or you just happen to get like some sort of like the first access. I don't know, but apparently you can pre-order it. So I don't know what goes on with that.
All right, we'll look into that for next episode. Let everyone know.
So the next thing's up. We might as well get some of the minor news out of the way. The new trailer for Bombshell dropped. Bombshell, which will be released on December 20th, is starring Margot Robbie, Charlize Theron, and Nicole Kidman, directed by Jay Roach. A group of women decided to take on Fox News head Roger Ailes in the toxic atmosphere he presided over in the network. So the first trailer we got for this was just them in an elevator, and the main point from that was just I'm shocked how much they made Charlize Theron look like Ben Kelly.
Right.
It's like horrifying, but you can definitely see it a lot more in this trailer. We get a more sense of what the movie's about. Roger Ailes, huge piece of shit. Don't really need to go into all that, but he gets accused of sexual harassment, and these are the 3 women that bring him down, which is obviously every day on the news you hear about some sort of the Me Too movement. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just we're still in the process of exposing a lot of these pieces of shit. So this movie's apparently very good. It's being reviewed very well. Apparently Charlize Theron and Nicole Kidman are Oscar-worthy type performances. They actually have a star-studded cast. So Margot Robbie nominated for an Academy Award. I don't remember exactly for what.
I, Tonya.
I, Tonya, yes, thank you.
Okay.
Charlize Theron won for Monster,
Mm-hmm.
and Nicole Kidman won for something else. I also didn't care to look that up right now. So I just pulled the story up.
I don't have that one off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
So you have 2 Oscar winners and another Oscar nominee heading the cast. I'm officially marking this to see it. I don't remember what we did in our show, but it's directed by Jay Roach, who did all the Austin Powers movies. He recently did. Let's see what's going on here. He did Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers, all 3 of the Austin Powers. He did that Recount TV movie, Dinner for Schmucks. He did The Campaign. He did the movie Trumbo, which I don't think a lot of people saw, but it's very good. I believe he also produces Barry, but don't quote me on that. But he's very talented. Obviously, Austin Powers, one of the funniest movies you can watch. I still watch them crack up. So Jay Roach, and he's dived in some of the political stuff too. So I'm officially throwing this movie on to see it. The trailer looks great. Obviously, the actors are unbelievable. This seemingly, now that we know it's good, is going to be an Oscar movie, and I'm excited. What did you think about the trailer?
Yeah, listen, I didn't know that this was coming out. I don't think we covered it in our preview. So this wasn't on my radar at all. I definitely had heard that this was happening, but I didn't know when it was coming out. This was a pretty fast turnaround for a real life story. I must say, the second this all came out, someone must have been like, "Yep, I'm writing this movie," and making a lot of money to do it. It looks, of course, very interesting, and I'm sure it won't be divisive at all. And I'm sure people won't have hot takes on it, and I'm sure it won't be a big thing. Everyone will just appreciate it as a work of art, right?
Yep. No, there won't be a bunch of lib cucks going to watch this movie. I'm excited. Because once you get into talk of Oscar movies, I'm gonna watch pretty much anything. And usually, sometimes the foreign films, because I'm not a big fan of subtitles, I really tune into those. But I try to make a point to see all the Oscar movies each year, and if they're good, and I'm looking at the runtime right now, it's only 1 hour and 48 minutes long, which is also great. And the movie we're reviewing today was super short, and after the It fiasco, the 3-hour long movie, any short movie gets a bump up in my book. So I'm really looking forward to this. I especially hope. I mean, the prosthetics. It's just like the prosthetics that are on Charlize Theron to look like Megyn Kelly. It's it's unbelievable.
Yeah, no, definitely. For this podcast, short movies are real hot right now. I think we're both when we were driving to the theater last night, I looked at my AMC pass and I was like, ooh, only 1 hour and 30 minutes, perfect.
Yep,
this is a good length.
Same.
And so this will be good. We'll definitely review it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, anything. Yeah, we want to talk about Fox.
There's
also John
Lib Cucks, probably.
John Lithgow as Roger Ailes, another prosthetics. I didn't even recognize that was him until the titles dropped at the end.
Right. Yeah, no, it's good. John Lithgow, really good actor. I love that dude.
Emperor. Not Emperor. Lord Farquaad, Shrek. Best role.
That's exactly what I was thinking of when I was saying that he's a really good actor. You're right.
And then our last news story, which is the biggest of the week by far, for us, for anybody who believes in Batman, like we all do. So we finally got 2 more official castings. Unfortunately, Jonah Hill dropped out. So
yeah, what the hell?
So let's just go with how this timeline's worked out. So I believe at the end of last week, Zoe Kravitz was cast as Catwoman, which I didn't know she was up for consideration, but that's such like a no-brainer casting. And I feel like she's going to fit perfectly into that role. Somebody also brought up how she kind of looks like Halle Berry too. So it's obviously there's not going to be continuing that story, but it's
why not? Everyone loved Catwoman.
God, that was one of the worst fucking movies ever. That's a wonderful casting. I love it. Zoe Kravitz. We talked about too. Did not know that Jason Momoa was married to her mom because I saw a random picture.
Yeah,
like,
no,
Jason
I didn't.
Momoa literally the title of the article was Jason Momoa's stepdaughter, Zoe Kravitz.
Not Lenny Kravitz's daughter.
No, Jason Momoa's stepdaughter.
Fuck you, Lenny Kravitz. You're not good for the SEO, apparently.
Yeah, dude, Jason Momoa he's the daddy of the house now, apparently. But I love that casting. That was great. Obviously, the 2 previous confirmed castings, obviously Robert Pattinson. And the other one is I'm forgetting his name. Is it Jeffrey Wright? Jeffrey Wright.
Yep. From
That's
Westworld.
correct.
Jeffrey Wright.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Jeffrey Wright is Commissioner Gordon. Obviously, like Brian just said, from Westworld. He's also in James Bond. I think he's actually in the new James
The
Bond
new
too.
James Bond. Cool, cool.
So he's been in 2 of the previous Daniel Craig's one. So great actor. He has a very distinct voice. I think that's another great casting.
Yeah.
It's another one where
He's
you
in the
wouldn't even
Hunger
think about it,
Games.
but then Hunger Games too.
Yeah.
Yep. Another one where I think we have 3 people from the Hunger Games. Wasn't Zoe Kravitz in the Hunger Games? Because I know her dad was.
Lenny Kravitz definitely was. I don't remember if Zoe Kravitz was.
Either way, or no, what am I thinking? She might have been in that Divergent series. I don't know. I don't want to get into all that. But and then after Zoe Kravitz got it, I'm like, great, this movie's really shaping up. We just need to lock down Jonah Hill, and then we discovered that Jonah Hill basically ended discussions they couldn't come to an agreement. I read some articles that were saying that he wanted to play the Riddler, and the studio really wanted him to play the Penguin.
That's fucked up, dude.
They kind of made it sound like that, like he wanted to play the Riddler, but they didn't have the Riddler role written. And so at that point, I'm like, well, like, all right, I sat with the studio there because, I get it. You don't want to play the Penguin because it's sort of typecasting with you. But at the same time, if there's no Riddler in the movie, they're not going to rewrite the movie. That's stupid. But then, so that news dropped, and I think it was a day later. It was a day or 2 days later that our boy Paul Dano. I did not pull up their IMDb's like an idiot. To be fair,
it's all good. It's all good.
Can't afford that in the late night pod. Paul Dano was cast out of nowhere as the Riddler. So obviously, I think the first thing we read that he wanted to play the Riddler and said the Penguin wasn't true. They just probably couldn't come to an agreement for Jonah Hill. Paul Dano. This is for anybody that sees Prisoners or There Will Be Blood. Paul Dano's gonna fucking kill this. Yeah, I think this might be the casting I'm most excited for.
Little Miss Sunshine. Give us a little relation to the main movie we're covering today.
Yep.
Yeah, Paul Dano is really good. He's in Looper as well.
Yep.
He's a talented actor. I think he'll kill this role personally.
Agreed. Yeah, it's Matt Reeves has a special movie. Honestly, I'm very much excited for it. Even though I was excited for Ben Affleck, I don't. Maybe it's because we were so let down by that I'm now that much more looking forward to this movie or series or whatever he's creating. But I love these castings, and honestly, it's not. I don't think it stops here because apparently they're doing the Halloween storyline. Yep. We still need a calendar, man.
Ooh, who will it be? Probably I don't know. Probably not Jonah Hill though, unfortunately. Because we speculated if that had happened, we should have been the first people to be cited.
Agreed.
But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm just hoping that this is, Aquaman, Joker, this movie. It's all a return to form for DC because, man, I love my DC heroes and I just want them to be in good movies.
Yeah. No, I mean, agreed. And also the other rumor I heard about John David Washington being cast as Harvey Dent. Oh man, that happens. I could not be any more in this movie than I am now. But if that happens, I might fly out to Hollywood and just try to get in the movie somehow, or try to buy a stake in that production company. Because John David Washington as Harvey Dent would be flawless. Yeah, that would be almost a better cast than Paul Dano. But we'll see. I'm very much excited for this. It's only 2.5 years away at this point, or almost a year and a half away. Summer 2021. So about a year and a half away.
It's so funny, like John David Washington. Obviously, like his dad's an amazing actor, but it's like, man, why'd you play football that long? Fuck football. Like this is your calling.
Seriously, because his first exposure was Ballers, and he's great in that. But yeah, John David Washington is very, very good. Black Klansman, one of the best movies from last year. He had one of the best performances. Him and Adam Driver. So, all right, buddy, let's do it. Let's get into it. It's late Friday night. I'm a little intoxicated, so let's jump into Zombieland Double Tap.
All right.
We'll obviously do a spoiler-free review first, and then we'll jump in the spoilers. Brian, I guess I'll go first this week since I allowed you to go first previous 2 weeks. I thought this movie was good. I did not think it was even close to being as good as the first Zombieland. I'm giving it a 73 out of 100. I thought the first 2 acts were good, not great. I thought the pacing was good, which bumps it up a few points. Yep. Woody Harrelson's awesome. Madison, unbelievable character. Right. It was a character I never knew I wanted in Zombieland. She pretty much every line she said I laughed at. Zoe Dutch or Dooch, I don't know how you say her last name.
Yeah, I don't either.
She was awesome in it.
Mm.
Uh, but then we got into the third act, Brian, and I thought the third act was just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to get into it without spoilers, but I just thought it got like super super lazy, almost like cliched at points, and it honestly brought the movie down for me a lot. It was at that point I was like I really liked where the movie was going. First two acts were great. It was funny. It was kind of like the whole point of the story was that they're trying to track down is it Little Rock is her name?
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Little Rock.
Little Rock. Yep.
Wichita, played by Emma Stone, trying to track down Abigail Breslin, Little Rock, and they kind of go on this little cross country tour, and it was working out fine. It was kind of like the story was fine. Part of the issue is that you're also seeing Abigail Breslin the entire time,
Right.
and you also kind of see in the trailers too. But there's really like no conflict at all there because you're seeing her the whole time, which I thought they could have went a different approach to that to kind of build up like where we just don't see her the whole time. You know what I mean? Like the part of the mystery we don't know what's going on with her. But yeah, that final act I just thought was just so bad and just so lazy. And I laughed at a few points. Like Woody Harrelson's was consistently great throughout the entire movie. Jesse Eisenberg. He's Jesse Eisenberg. It's tough to really watch him now without thinking about Mark Zuckerberg and just like his like monotone way of living life. Emma Stone's great. Apparently, Emma Stone turned down the role in Little Women, which is Greta Gerwig's movie that's coming out on Christmas Day, to do this film.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Which Emma Stone's kind of like turning into, or she's not already one of the more major actresses in Hollywood. So I'm a little surprised they got her to come back for this because I feel like she's good. She's Emma Stone playing like the emo type chick that kind of really got her big at the first part, but. Yeah, 73 out of 100 for me. I can kind of get into more with the spoilers. But Brian, what did you think?
Yeah, I'm actually right there with you. 7 out of 10 for me. I think, it's hard to compare it to the original one just because I feel like no one really expected Zombieland. At first, like everything felt so fresh and fun, and we weren't 10 seasons into Walking Dead at this point. Like zombies weren't completely played out. You
weren't any seasons into Walking Dead at this point.
No, it hadn't even premiered yet. That's pretty insane too to think about that this movie, and it's it's the sequel to a movie that came out all of the entire run of The Walking Dead ago.
Yeah, 10 years. Holy shit, yeah.
Yeah, and so, I mean, good on them for getting the original cast back, and good on the original cast for, like, slipping back into their roles fairly easily. So, I guess what I'm saying is it is fun. It's a good time, but it's not a movie like that I'm going to say, oh, you have to run out and see it. It's, if you wait for it to come out on DVD, I think you'll be, like, pleasantly surprised, be rather entertained, but it's not a movie that you need to absolutely see. You know what I'm saying?
No, I 110% agree. I'm glad, like, it's tough to explain because I'm glad we saw it. Because when the movie first started, when we had Jesse Eisenberg doing a voiceover, I'm like, oh shit, man, Zombieland. I haven't watched the first Zombieland in a while. It's probably been like a year or two since I've last seen Zombieland. So it was really good to get back because this is like, it's such a charismatic cast. Like Woody Harrelson, obviously. Woody Harrelson is just at the top of his game playing Tallahassee, I think.
Right.
Jesse Eisenberg, like I said, just explained me the monotone Jesse Eisenberg. Emma Stone, she just lights up the screen when she's on it. She crushes it. She's just awesome. Abigail Breslin too. Like we've basically been growing up with Abigail Breslin. Part of the issue I was having is I don't know if they were like, are they saying in this movie that 10 years have passed between the original movie and this?
Yes.
See, I don't know. I guess I didn't really get that, and it's tough. Well, when Little Rock like abandons the family, this is in the trailer when she runs away. I'm kind of like, you've been with these people for 10 years, and I get it. Believe me, I get it. Like family is like, oh, like sometimes you just want to shoot your family. Now you've been stuck with these people for 10 years, but it's kind of like, I feel like there'd be much more of a connection there after 10 years.
Right.
These people, if the time frame was actually 10 years. So I don't. Like I said, I'm gonna spoil something before if I go down that road. But yeah, I don't. It's just there was like no point to this movie. I mean, both
Right.
the story and the actual movie itself. There was just no point. It was great to see it. Like I said, I was excited to see it, but I totally agree. There's really just like I wouldn't rush out to the theater to see this.
And I'm gonna be very curious to see like what the box office is, because I feel like if this came out in 2010, 2011, it would have been like really big, like hyped up. People would have been all for it. But 10 years is a long time to have off. Like, yeah, they even make like a coy reference to it at the very beginning of the movie, but it's like, yeah, 10 years. There's been a lot since then.
That's the other thing too, is that it really didn't feel like the hype was there for this movie.
No,
And we didn't even realize until last week when I was like, oh shit, Zombieland comes out next week. Well, let's review that. Like obviously I knew it was coming out, but like I just, it wasn't even on my radar at that point, which is crazy because like the first one was practically universally loved. Like I'm not saying it's an all-time classic movie, but it was pretty much universally loved by everybody that saw it.
Right.
And this is actually sitting with a 7.6 on. I'm sorry, no, that's the old one. Ooh, this is sitting with a 7.3 on IMDb right now. So like, I think pretty much everybody agrees with us in terms of right around that 7 range. It's fun. It's you're not going here to really get to really think and have this movie keep you up at night for the next 3 days. You know, it's a fun movie. You're gonna laugh, and it does do that. But the story is just so. There's literally no point to the story.
It's just more Zombieland. That's the most you can say about it.
Which is fine, but it's also I'm not really. This won't be a movie I'll be clawing to see again. You know.
Yeah, it's like I guess what I was trying to say about it coming out 10 years later. It's like if this had come out a few years later, it would make more sense for what it was. But it's like 10 years. Why didn't they try more? I don't know if that's unfair, but like I don't know.
When we get the spoilers, I'll get into how I thought their explanation for the changes for the past 10 years didn't really work for me at all.
Right.
So, I'm giving it a 73 out of 100. You're giving it a 7 out of 10. That's pretty much all I have to say without spoiling anything else. It's an okay movie. It's not bad by any means, but it's not really good or great by any means at all either.
Yeah, so see it if you are dying to see it. Rent it if you can wait.
All right, buddy. I'm ready to do spoilers.
All right, to anybody who is signing off, thank you so much for checking out this episode. Make sure you check out all the shows on the channel. Better Radio, Interview with Rob and Courtney, new Sunnydale Review. Episode 3 is live the day that we're recording this today, yesterday by the time this is posted. And, of course, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/wickedgoodeverything. And you ready, Dylan? Spoiler time?
Before we go, shout out Brian Wong. We almost made a whole episode. Brian Wong said he's considering going to see this in theaters, but I doubt when he's listening to this that he'd seen it. So shout out Brian Wong.
Yes, shout out Brian. Please go see it and get to the end of the podcast.
Yeah, baby, let's do spoilers.
All right, let's go.
So I talked about the final act a lot. They really built up like this apex predator zombie the entire movie.
Right.
And we finally get it. And they obviously they had no guns. So right away, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, how are they gonna do this? They have no guns. They're with a bunch of hippies. Like, I don't understand how they pull this off. I was like, kind of getting nervous. At this point, I thought that the final act was actually gonna go a complete opposite way of how it actually went. I'm like, damn. Like they're honestly like they're gonna have to really do some cool shit. And pretty much all they did was they created a giant fireball, and they basically almost all died for literally no reason.
Right.
Out the middle. And because it wouldn't even be a sacrifice in themselves. Because the zombies just run up and get them out there. They basically all, if it wasn't for Rosario Dawson's character, they all would have died. So like their whole plan was stupid. Right. And then at this point, Rosario Dawson comes in. All of a sudden, these zombies just become they become what they called homers.
Yeah.
They all just start charging after Woody Harrelson. They go off the building. They all jump off. And that was it. That's how they die.
Yeah.
And I just thought
I had that figured out from the second I saw that giant tower. After he talked about the buffalo running, I was like, all right, so that's how this movie's going to end. And then that is how it ended.
And I just thought it was just super weak. And like the way that they made it, like all of a sudden Emma Stone was like, you know what, I want to get married now. Yeah. And like pretty much up until that point, she acknowledged that she said that she was sorry for for leaving him, but at the same time she was like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to be tied down." And at the very end she's like, "You know, fuck it, let's just marry, fuck it, whatever."
Yeah.
And same thing with Abigail Breslin. She's all of a sudden like, "Yeah, you know what? I just want to leave my family." I feel like there was just no character development. Like the whole thing in the beginning, like Woody Harrelson, he's saying that once again. I have to fact check if it actually was 10 years gone by in the movie. But the whole thing about Woody Harrelson saying like, "Oh, like once we find Little Rock, I'm out of here. Like I'm going back to my own ways." I feel like just after 10 years, they would be a little more connected than that.
It's like a episode of a sitcom.
Yep.
Everything has to go back to zero by the end.
And same thing with Madison too. Like I thought there was gonna be a big deal about Madison being all upset about Columbus and Wichita. She's like, oh, she's like, you know what? I'm like, yeah, here's your ring, and I'm just like, it was just so. It was the entire third act was just so lazy and just so. I was just at that point. I'm like, you know what? All right, I'm ready for this movie to be over. Like, I'm ready to get out of here. Like this is fine. That's the other thing too. Like they built up the Homer zombies and the what was it called? The Hawking zombies. And the T-800s too. Yeah, and it really just did not really get them at all. Like the
only Hawking was the fucking it climbed a ladder. I guarantee there's some zombies in Zombieland 1 that climbed like that ride they were on.
When we first saw a Hawking, it literally bit the eyeball out of a guy because it figured out that if it would scan the eyeball through the thing, it would be able to get in there. Right. And then the only confrontation they have with the Hawking is that he climbed the ladder. Like that was just so fucking like what was the point of all that? Like just make the zombies regular. Like they could have made the zombies still dumb and regular and it wouldn't have changed anything at all.
No, it wouldn't have.
No point to that.
Yeah, the only thing it did was they had the two new characters fighting T-800 zombies, and then they got bit, and that's like I guess why they got bit, because they weren't normal zombies. But it was like there's no point to this really.
Yeah, so Luke Wilson and Thomas Middleditch.
Yeah. Flagstaff and
Albuquerque.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be the clones of Tallahassee and Columbus. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was one of the better scenes too. Pretty much up until they left the Elvis Hotel, I thought the movie was good. It was probably hovering around like the 80% range because it was still pretty much about nothing, but it was landing a lot of what it did, and a lot of it made sense. I was like kind of what I said earlier too. The whole thing about how Little Rock, like her disappearing, the movie would have been so much better if we didn't see Little Rock. Because really the only reason we had to see it was for the scene with the songs of him doing the Bob Dylan and I forget the other song he did, and also like they were talking about weed. That was like the only other two scenes they had. I feel like if you cut that out and there's like an actual, maybe Zombieland wasn't trying to do this. They didn't want to make it this complicated. But like to cut it out and then make a mystery, like oh, what happened to Little Rock? And like, yeah, that wasn't what they were trying to do. Fine, but it was also like, this is just literally a movie, just so you can make the movie.
Right. Yeah. No, I know. I did have one like great joke that I wanted to definitely point out in it was when they're fighting Flagstaff and Albuquerque, and like, how are you doing? And it's like bad, and then like they're both like pinned down on the pool table, and like, how are you doing? Still bad. He's like, you want to switch? How would that benefit me?
Yeah,
that was really funny.
That whole Albuquerque scene was good because Thomas Middleditch, it was hilarious. Silicon Valley, I've loved him ever since. Him and Jesse Eisenberg, like they kind of work, because it's also funny because it's like Silicon Valley is basically like a comedic version of The Social Network.
Right. Yeah.
So like both to see them too, basically the satirical version of Mark Zuckerberg and Mark Zuckerberg. It was just very funny. I thought they worked well. I mean,
yeah, really good casting.
I kind of figured out that I didn't think we were gonna get Luke Wilson and Thomas Middleditch for the rest of the movie, but like when their deaths happened, it was still good. I like that whole fight scene of them running around and all that.
Right.
Of like Woody Harrelson just beating people up with fucking pool sticks and also still hitting Columbus. It was
Oh my
good.
God, that was so good. Just smashes him in the face with a bottle.
And something we failed to keep talking about is Madison. I thought Madison was by far and away the best and funniest character in this entire movie.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job with her, because when she first appeared, I was like, this could be really bad. This could be like distractingly awful if they don't handle this well. But I don't think they did a bad job with it at all.
100% agree. Because at first, I was like, oh, like when we first in the trailers and when we got her in the movie, I was like, oh, okay, she's gonna be like that character. I didn't think she was gonna last as long as she did, but no, she was like, without her, I think this movie would have been in some trouble, honestly, because it would have basically just been Woody Harrelson himself.
Yeah.
She was great, Madison. I loved the whole thing how she died and then didn't die. I thought was fucking hilarious.
That was good.
And it was so unexpected when they were driving along her in the highway. I thought there was gonna be a zombie in the car. A zombie driving the car. I thought it was gonna be a Hawking, which would have been funny and would have been a good little fight we would have had. Would have made sense. But her being in there was just as funny. I like that a lot. She was great.
I liked. Oh gosh, sorry, lost my train of thought on that. I think she did a good job with what she had. She like I said, she could have been annoying, but by giving us a reprieve from her and bringing her back, that was probably a smart move, because it was like getting a little bit, a lot of her, and then they like gave us room to breathe, and then she came back, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm cool with her being back. I did like the thing where she was like, your friends are mean, and he's just like, yes, they're mean, Madison. Like, sorry. And then later on, she's like sarcastic back to them.
She starts saying the sarcasm, yes.
Yeah, and yeah, I thought that was good. What else in this movie? I think it's a very interesting thing that like they explained it with like the dams giving like power to them to just have like, it's not complete Walking Dead universe.
Yep.
It's not everything's completely abandoned. Like the hotel is like lit up bright at night, which you think would be dangerous, but it's fine.
That's excuse me. That's like the other thing too. Like there was just zombie wise, except maybe for that split second when they were around at the end, there was really like no danger to the zombies. Other than that split second when you thought Madison was going to get bit when they came out from underneath the bus,
Right.
There was really like no other danger from the zombies. You never at any point felt endangered. But like I said, that's I could just be overthinking Zombieland. It's not by any means trying to be Walking Dead. Or Day of the Dead. It's not trying to be like that. It's not even trying to be like Shaun of the Dead. It's just it's goofy. It's funny. I don't know. I'm sticking to my 73, but when you're watching Zombieland 1, you're like, oh, I wish I could watch another one. Just watch this one.
Yeah, you'll be able to now. I think that bus scene actually, like tour bus RV scene was really good because it kind of showed like how good they are together fighting now with him being up there, calling out where the zombies are on the clock. Yep. And the joke with the Homer at that part was actually pretty funny too.
Agreed. I agree.
Yeah, anything else you want to touch on in this movie? Or
no, that's pretty much it. Like, I mean, it's kind of to the same point where I said this movie wasn't trying to be anything it wasn't. Fortunately, there's really not much more to talk about other than what we just talked about.
Right. So yeah, that is Zombieland Double Tap. If you watched it, let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. And Dylan, anything you want to promote before we get on out of here?
No, the for sure next thing that we have coming up is Mandalorian, but Watchmen's getting good reviews, so maybe we're back on the Watchmen trade. We got to figure that out because that's a lot of podcasting. So.
Yeah. And I'd like after I finish Barry, we could do like a one-off episode of the 2 seasons of Barry because, oh boy, that show is fucking great.
I would love to. We will record that same day as Mindhunter.
All right, word. All right, guys. Thank you so much for checking out this episode. Like I said, let us know what you thought of Zombieland in the comments down below. Subscribe to the main channel at youtube.com/wherewegeteverything. Subscribe to this channel so we can get to 100 subscribers to get that custom URL so we can be Wicked Good Podcasts. Make sure you subscribe and rate on iTunes. We'd appreciate that very much. And tell all your friends, family, enemies, pretty much anyone about Wicked Good Show. Dylan, where can they find you online?
DJ Clubberlang with 2 B's on Twitter. And same on Letterboxd. We're just going by Letterboxd now.
Yeah. So go follow him, everybody. You can follow me at the Fake BMar on Twitter. That's BMARR. You can follow the channel at WG Everything on Instagram at Wicked Get Everything, and on Twitch at twitch.tv/Wicked Get Everything. We haven't streamed in a long time, but maybe one day, if you don't follow, you won't know.
Correct.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one.
I will see you guys next week. It will be a sober episode, so.
And we won't be so tired. I won't lose my train of thought in the middle of a sentence, hopefully.
I'm drunk on hibachi rice, honestly, because we went out of hibachi tonight, and it was I got double rice, and oh, buddy.
Yeah. Well, good luck to the Yankees. Hopefully they win. And
They won. They won.
Hey, there we go.
They won. They forced the game 6.
Very
Let's
nice.
Go Yanks.
Oh, man. Thanks for listening, everybody.